back. This is the Morning Dew Show, and today we're talking about the education and particularly the CBC or competence-based curriculum. And in studio, I have Jennifer Roth, who is an elementary school teacher in the US, helping us to dissect more into the CBC. I'm Wairimu Mugo. Stay tuned. So, welcome back.
Thank you.
To the Morning Dew Show. And as we were going into the break, we were talking about some of the challenges and the collaboration between parents, teachers, and the children. However, I'd want to know from the previous, I'm a product of the 844 system that was previous before we introduced the CBC. And from back then, our grading system was a bit different because we were being graded from number one to the last one in the class. However, for CBC, this has changed. Kindly take us through that.
Okay, so for us, the way that it changed is we never had numbers of student number 1 to student number 20, but we had a number system, which means we had 4, 3, 2, and 1. Or actually, that's the new system, excuse me. Prior to that, they had letters, A, B, C, D, and F. A is the best, F is not good at all. And then we changed to this number system, which is similar. I mean, 4 means exceeds expectations, 3 meets, 2 is meet almost there, and 1 is below grade level. So I think that parents had an adjustment because them growing up, an A was the best that you could get, and you knew what an A was. Now you have a 3, which means you're at grade level. And so that is absolutely great. That's where you should be. To get a 4 is very difficult. And some parents with children that were very gifted, I would say, had a really hard time because they wanted their children to have a 4, which means exceeds expectations. But there's a rubric which sort of defines for each area what a 4 is. And their children did not get that 4. And so we had to have a lot of conversations with parents about your child is doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're in 3rd grade. They're meeting expectations of the science curriculum in 3rd grade. But it was a challenge, and it still is. We still have those conversations.
However, how is that important, especially to the child's esteem?
I think that it helps them to see where they are and where they can go. So instead of saying, you're failing, you're saying, okay, you're a work in progress, and we are going to get to the next level. And so they have opportunity for growth. And so it helps with their self-esteem because they don't see themselves as failing. They see that I am at this level and I'm going to work to get to the next level. And that makes them feel better about themselves.
Wow. There's a parent up who is listening and watching us and asking him or her here, what really is the benefit of this curriculum to the child's life?
Well, I think that there are lots of life skills that are integrated within the curriculum. So, for example, we were talking about earlier off camera about imagination and creativity. And I think that there are opportunities for students and families because we were talking about how children and families maybe not have resources. So what you need to do is, for example, you have to make a science model of something. And there's a list of materials. Well, you look at those materials and you go home and you say, well, what do I have? Okay. In the school day, during class with the 20 children that you have, you look around and you say, okay, does somebody have sticks? Like we were talking about that. Does somebody have tomatoes? Does somebody have a pot? Does somebody have the water? That's collaboration. So we're working together. So while we might not be able to make it at home, we can take the resources that are needed and bring them to school. And then we're going to collaborate to make the whole project work.
In terms of long-term benefits, are there any, or does CBC prepare the child for any career opportunities?
I believe so. I think that there are a lot of life skills that are integrated within this curriculum. Critical thinking and problem solving are huge in anything that you do, if any area. Um, and also communication and collaboration. You're going to, as an adult, work with other people, and you need to know how to communicate with them effectively. You need to know how to collaborate in order to succeed at whatever job that you actually do.
Normally, in the kind of setup we have in Kenya, our schools before could not allow maybe children with physical needs to study together. In your view, does CBC then now allow children who have physical needs to attend the same class with kids who may not have?
I believe so. I think that I'm not certain here, but in the United States, we have special teachers that work with children with disabilities, but we collaborate with those teachers. As an example, I'm an English teacher, which means that I work with children that come to the United States speaking no English, and I go into their classroom, I collaborate with their teacher, I take that content that they're learning, and I make sure that they understand it at their level. And so I think that then they're collaborating with teachers too. So I think that yes.
I want to take you back from our previous session, especially where at a point you told me that CBC in your country didn't work as per expected. What do you think, in your view, was the major setback for it not to work?
I think for my particular state of North Carolina, the reason that it didn't work is that they tried to roll out too many things too quickly. They should take one content area per year, spend time on each content area, because that takes you through the challenges and it makes you understand what's working, what's not working, so that the next year you can say, okay, when you do social studies, here are some of the things that we noticed that didn't work. This is how we fixed them. You need more time. You need more time to everything at one time is too overwhelming, and you can't do it well. You need to just do one thing per year, one subject area.
So is Jennifer still a teacher?
I'm still a teacher. Yes, I am. I'm still a teacher, and this is my 28th year, and I can retire in 30 years. We'll see. To be continued in terms of if I will still be teaching after 30 years, we'll see.
What do you hope to do?
Well, I mean, I'm here in Kenya now. There are some projects I like working with teachers in other areas of the world, and focusing on sort of professional development opportunities for teachers.
Being a teacher, I know, is quite exciting, and I'd want you to look into that camera and talk to parents, teachers, just especially the children. And I know right now, especially with COVID, there was quite a long break for students, and there's quite some disorientation somewhere, but I know there is hope. So I want you to talk into that camera and just encourage everyone who is involved in the education system. Yes.
Okay. I would say the two words that I would use are patience and flexibility. We've gone through a lot in the last 2 years specifically, and it's going to take time to adjust to this. We as teachers are very comfortable doing what we're doing, and we get it rolling, and then something changes, and it just is going to take time, and you have to be flexible. If it doesn't work this way, you're going to figure it out. We're teachers. That's why we're doing this, because we know how to work things out. Every day is not the same. That's why I love teaching. You go in today, it's not the same tomorrow. So it will all work out. Rely on each other as a family. Communicate with each other, with your families, with your administration. And it's a process, but it will eventually work itself out.
Wow, beautiful. All right, that is it for today. We were talking about CBC and education at general with Jennifer Roth, who is an elementary school teacher in the US. It has been the Modern Duty